welcome to Season 3, Episode 7 of the Raider Power Podcast. I'm Ryan, and with me, as always, is my man Moss and our boy Evan. How are we doing today, fellas?
Doing pretty good, man. Doing pretty good. Evan, how are you doing, buddy?
Doing good. It's good to see you guys. It's been a minute.
Yeah, happy New Year's.
Yeah, for real. It's been a bit too long, but I hope you guys all had, great holidays, great New Year's. Hopefully you got to see your families. Just same with our listeners at home. I hope they did too.
Yeah. I had an exciting holiday of isolation away from my family, and then a lot of yard work, and that was about it.
That is different. Being up in the Northeast, we don't exactly do yard work on Christmas time. We more shovel. But, Texas, I feel it.
Have you ever de-stumped a tree?
I have.
Have you de-stumped a 5-foot diameter tree?
No, I haven't really seen a 5-foot diameter tree.
I don't wish that upon my worst enemy.
You gotta get an excavator for that, man. Get the big boys in there.
I got it out of there with an axe, man.
Yeah, I mean that sounds like Christmas. But let's talk about some other gifts that we've gotten this year, which is the treat that is Texas Tech basketball. The season, it's already been an interesting one. A lot of shit going on with the team, between the players, the games, close wins, close losses. Someone give me a general feeling about how this season's been going.
I would say below expectations, which is it's kind of unfair. I mean, they're 18th in the country. I think we all had, and I think all the fans at home had such high hopes for this team to just be a top 5 team out of the gate, and that all these players would, gel well together, and that the coaching staff would have a set lineup or know exactly who's going to be starting and everyone's roles. And I just don't think we've seen that yet. And I was really hopeful with the comeback of Kevin McCullough that, the team was going to gel more, and then we would have a set lineup to go in. And then, as we saw with the Kansas State game, TJ Shannon comes off the bench. They're just working on stuff, man. Chris Beard says it all the time. It's a work in progress.
I mean, honestly, going off that, I could not agree more that, I think maybe we just had wildly high expectations, because they obviously still are a very good team, and, maybe we thought they were definitely a 1 or 2 seed, and they're looking more like a 4 seed, which is still, incredible. But I think you're 100% right. It's just people talk about it all the time with Texas Tech runs a motion offense, and these players that are freshmen, they coming in, they're used to just handling the ball, or McClung comes in at Georgetown, they ran a very different offense. You got transfers, and I think what we just have to do is wait for the offense to turn into the offense that we think it's going to be, because the defense is the defense we thought it would be, number 1 scoring defense in the country. There's no denying that. It's just the offense is going to come. I think we got the players minus 1 or 2, which we'll get into, but we got the players. We have the talent for the offense. I think they just have to learn the system better.
When you go to the national championship, it's very difficult to not have extremely high expectations the following, few seasons. Last year we really didn't live up to the expectation that I had, that I think most people had. This year I think that we are every bit as talented that we've been under Beard while he's been here. I just think that we're having an issue making it gel. But let's not forget, in that national title game appearance run, we had to make things click as well. We didn't look super hot early that year either. Yeah. And it was all about getting this team to gel, And another thing I'm going to say is, I can say with confidence that this is the best that I've seen the Big 12.
Oh, yeah,
100%.
Unless
Easily.
when I was a child, maybe, I don't know. But certainly the past 10, 15 years, this is undoubtedly the best that the Big 12 has ever been.
Yeah. I mean, right now the Big 12 has 5 teams that'll definitely be, or as of right now, would be a 4 seed or better. At least a 5 seed or better. You got, right now, Baylor and Texas would be 1 seeds. That's insane. Kansas at 2. And then you got West Virginia and Texas Tech somewhere between the 3 to 5 range. I mean,
you got
the Big 12 is insane.
Teams in the top 6 in the nation. That's absurd.
I know. This year it's Big 12 and Big 10. Everyone else forget about it.
There's a lot of basketball to play, but a lot of people were pretty pissed when Texas Tech was picked to finish 5th in the Big 12.
Yeah.
But that's right where they're sitting.
Yeah.
Honestly, Texas has been like the biggest shocker for me.
No
I
doubt.
knew they would be good, but I pictured them as like 3, 4, probably fourth in the Big 12. I really thought it was going to be Baylor, Kansas, and Tech at the top. But Texas is proving to be the best team that Shaka Smart has ever coached.
Oh,
No
yeah,
question.
absolutely. And he finally has the pieces that he wanted in the last few years. I mean, and the
That,
team has history together. That's something that I think we might be overlooking with Tech. Coach Beard is a guru when it comes to getting transfers and gelling everyone together. But I just want to say one thing is that in teams past, if you look at like Kim Palm, the ranking of their offense has always kind of started around this 40 to 60 number. And then as the season progresses, it consistently rises. And same thing with their defense. The team improves under Chris Beard. It's never stagnant. It's always improving. And I think we saw at some points in the Kansas State game that we have improved, and we have improved as a team. I think they're just constantly getting better. I think that Oklahoma State loss made them get better, and I think that Kansas loss made them get better as well. The Houston one, I don't really know because they just didn't look like themselves at all during that one.
the Houston loss is the worst loss.
Oh, yeah,
Kansas
by
loss
far.
was heartbreaking, but that was a well-played game against a very good team.
Yeah.
Oklahoma State is tough, ended up going to OT. When you go to OT, it's a toss-up. But the Houston loss, that one had me shaking my fist.
I'm going
Otherwise,
to
I felt
disagree
good.
with you a little bit because you look at Houston and they're the opposite of what Texas Tech is going through. They got a team that's been together and they've already experienced that chemistry early on. When you look at the two teams, especially their guards, you look at Houston and they know how to play together. They've been there. And so you're looking at Texas Tech coming into their first real test of the season. These guys are still figuring out what they're doing. I think Houston is a great team. I think that their one loss this year, every team can have bad games. I think Houston is still a legitimate threat for the Final Four. I really do.
No, and I don't disagree with that at all. I'm just saying, they lost by 11, but that was more like a 20-point loss game. They came back a little at the end. That was the only game where I was like, this is an ugly loss because Houston doesn't normally. Houston can put up points, and Tech held them to 64. It's just their offense had no business. They could do nothing out there. And that's what was getting me angry. And you're right. They only played a couple kind of trash teams lead up the season per usual. And that was their first real test. But it was just like that was the only one that was truly frustrating to watch. There was moments of other games, but that entire game I was like, all right, when's it going to click? When's the comeback coming?
I agree with you totally, Ryan. Well, let's take a look back at some of the big games. But first, let's discuss the elephant in the room. Breaking news today. First McDonald's All-American recruit in Texas Tech history for basketball has decided to leave the program for personal reasons and enter the transfer portal. I would hate to say that I'm not surprised, but I'm really not. I had talked about because think about it. You got
on the record, I'm surprised.
I'm very surprised.
Well, I'm not, and here's why. You got a guy who has his resume on paper coming in. He knows he's the man. He knows that he's the highest ranked recruit that Texas Tech's ever had. He comes in. He struggles incredibly on offense. He's probably still not getting the minutes that he wants. He's coming in probably thinking that he's going to be a starter on this team. I mean, we talked about it.
Yeah.
There was some debate on if he was going to be a starter, and he really wasn't even the sixth man. So he comes in. He doesn't see the role that he's probably envisioning. He's not performing well. I really thought that at the end of the year, if you didn't see his production increase, that he would be a likely candidate for the transfer portal. What I am surprised is that it comes in the middle of the season.
12 games in, man.
I mean, we're not even halfway through.
So I should reword what I said. I am not surprised that he's transferring. I'm surprised that it's occurring when it is.
Do you think
he had time to improve? He had time to improve.
He's just hitting the conference schedule. Like, this is where a player shines when they're on national TV playing against the Big 12. Like, if he improves, this is where his draft stock goes up.
Do you think that he was just thinking, "Oh, I'm a one and done player," and I'm not? That's what you're thinking. Okay, so he's going to play this year at Texas Tech, and then he's going to enter the NBA portal.
I mean, that was the hype around him, right? And that didn't do him any favors. The hype around Amari Burnett was that he was going to come in, start for Texas Tech, be a one-and-done player and head to the draft. He comes in, he doesn't start, he's not the sixth man, he's averaging barely over 4 points a game, getting roughly 18, 19 minutes a game. He's not seeing the output that he wants. I was talking with some people, and I said, if at the end of this season, if he does not get his playing time increased or he doesn't start to perform better, I could see him walking.
So you're going to tell me that he's going to go to a different school, play another year, and then why does that make any sense? If
I mean, he can't enter the draft after what he's put out at Tech.
No, right. He has no business entering the. So I don't understand why this is just not on him for him to just be like, okay, I need to get better because he sucked. I think his 3-point percentage was like 17%.
He had moments, but he wasn't what we expected from out of the gate. But again, it's learning a new offense. It's early in the season, so that's why I'm like really shocked because it's another thing where we all talk about how great Chris Beard is at putting together a team and handling different types of talent. And I was just shocked to see kind of the first guy who really was supposed to be that talent level just immediately walk. I would have thought he would have wanted to learn under Beard. He said before the season, I want to be a two-way player, all that type of stuff. But he's already gone. Yeah, and I feel like he didn't even give himself a chance.
I was not surprised that he left. I was surprised that he left now. I could see him leaving at the end of the season. But it begs the question, this is the second player you see leave after Tomboy leaving. Is there potentially some toxicity in the locker room?
That's what I was going to say.
Is that a possibility?
That's what I was going to say. There has to be. There was no reason for him to leave. I don't know why he would be leaving in the middle of the season.
I think if there's any toxicity in the locker room, it's probably from the guys who left in reality. Because what I'm thinking here, and this is all completely hypothetical, of course, but it's kind of like what you were saying, Evan. You're not getting the minutes you want because this is a deep team and Chris Beard runs rotations and puts out different people in the lineup. You see someone like Terrence Shannon who doesn't start for the first time all season, and what's he do? He goes out and has one of his best games of the season. He goes 11 for 12 from the free throw line, puts up 20-something points, and leads the team to a great victory. And that's like the mindset you have to have on a team like this. And maybe if you don't have that mindset, that might be something causing the toxicity. So maybe that's why they're gone. Because I have to think the core group of guys are all in it.
Yeah, I have to ask that question because it's a question that's certainly looming. But, you kind of hit the nail on the head earlier. I strongly believe that that's not the case because of the two people that transferred. When you look at both of those guys, you look at it in Tomboy. This dude was considering going to the G League and not coming to play at Tech, right?
Yeah.
So he comes. He's not seeing the minutes he wants. He's not seeing the role that he wants, so he bounces. You look at Namari Burnett, the hype around him, same thing. I'd be much more concerned if you saw guys like Avery Benson, Clarence Nadolny, Chabuzo Agbo Jr., these kind of role player guys that are coming off the bench that don't have that immense hype. If those were leaving, that would make me much more concerned about Chris Beard.
Who would concern me the most is someone like a Terrence Shannon.
Yeah.
If Shannon was saying, I don't like this, I'm leaving, that's like your core guy, good player, might not get a crazy amount of minutes, but gets good minutes. And if someone like that is saying bad things, then I think you're in trouble. But I think you have a good point about the other two. I mean, and Tomboy, as soon as he got the chance to go play pros with his brother, like, we had to assume that was going to happen. Like, he wanted to play with Kuminga the whole time, and Kuminga wanted to go pro. So they're going pro.
But you want to talk shocked. I was shocked that he even started with the program this year at all.
Yeah. I mean, it had to be in the back of his mind the whole time.
Yeah.
Like, as soon as I got an offer, I'm out.
If Benson left the program, I think that means that Chris Beard might have punched him in the face. Not one time. This might have happened maybe 3 different occasions, and then he would consider leaving the team.
If Benson left the program, it's because Chris Beard punched him in the face and he didn't hit him hard enough.
So I'm just using that analogy.
If you're going to hit me, make me feel some pain.
The guys that left because they were not living up. They were not being utilized in the role that they had envisioned for themselves.
I'm
right?
So
you look at anyone
Burnett,
else on the team.
Yeah, Burnett definitely didn't come in and think, all right, I'm the number 6 guy on the team. He probably didn't even think he was going to be the number 2 guy on the team. No way he thought that Mac McClung and Terrence Shannon were going to be the focal points of the offense.
Right, exactly.
I'm going to agree with Ryan that the toxic pieces have left the program. I don't think this is an overall program toxicity issue. I think this is just there's a couple guys with big egos that can't take it and they don't want to stick around for another year. What surprises me, though, is that Burnett leaves and then is going to go choose a different school to play another year.
He's
Yep.
got to.
I mean, he can't go pro.
I mean,
why leave in the middle of the season?
It doesn't
like,
make
if you
any
know
sense,
you're
man.
gonna, yeah.
I honestly, it might be like, all right, the season's not going the way I want it to. I don't know how it's going to turn around. Before I lower my stock more, let me get off TV.
There's that possibility, and then there's also the possibility that Burnett's, bitching to Beard about it, and he said, "I'm using you in this role. If you don't like it, see ya."
I could see that. I don't think Beard's going to take shit from somebody. He's all about 4-1, baby.
Yeah, 4-1.
4-1. 8-1-4. We
losing
talking 4-1.
Losing a guy like Burnett, even though we're not seeing the output that we want from him, we are seeing a glaring, a missing piece to our offense, and it's a true point guard.
I mean, I think what we were talking about of a 12-man rotation of solid players, it's down to 10, and like you're saying, we lost a big man and a point guard. It's important.
Well, I think Burton's got to step it up.
Here? We need Moretti here because, to your point, Chris, I have been so very disappointed with Jamarius Burton.
He's got to step it up, man.
He had a couple game good streak though when he started for Kyler. He was running the offense well, but now he's afraid to shoot.
He looked like Keenan Evans in some spots. He did.
Yeah.
But now after that Kansas State game, he's been wide open a few times and he decided to drive it to the basket and it just didn't work out.
I mean, but you're right. We don't really have a true point guard besides him if he can step it up. Because you talk about Mac McClung, he's a shoot first guy. He's great on ball, but he's not going to facilitate an offense. He doesn't have that in him yet. Kyler Edwards, again, great shoot first guy at times, but isn't a facilitator to run an offense. And when you're running a motion offense like Texas Tech does, you need to be able to move the ball. It isn't a stagnant, everyone stand around and drive. That's when we've seen the problems. Well, when we've seen the offense work, like at times at Kansas State, they were pushing transition, they're moving the ball, they're breaking up the zone by feeding it to the inside, pushing it out, and that's what you really have to do in an offense like this. It can't be a stand around and watch guys play.
We're going to lean more on Burton, and I think that might be a good thing.
For the most part,
we got to work through Shannon.
Lost. We looked lost against the zone.
Yeah, we have every single time.
Until the second half. In the second half, they started playing it right for a while,
and
they got fucked up.
Well, I want to say we looked lost against the zone against Kansas as well, and that's the reason we lost that game. And Oklahoma State saw that, and they just implemented a zone as well. And
I think until they figure it out, everyone else is going to do it too.
Absolutely,
right?
100%.
Until they start moving the ball, hitting open shots, and feeding it from the middle and coming out on cuts, instead of just being like, all right, we don't know what to do. Mac, take the ball and try to drive on four dudes. People are just going to zone them up.
Well, I guarantee you that Chris Beard is
that every day.
Fixing that right now.
Yeah.
I mean, there's no way.
And that's what we were saying. The offense is going to come.
So let's backtrack here. Let's start with the first big game.
Yeah.
Brutal loss to Kansas at home.
Yeah.
What did we do well? What did we do poor? I'll start off, if you don't mind. Poor.
Go right ahead.
Glaring right in your face free throw shooting.
Oh, yeah. Terrible.
When you shoot 61% on 18 attempts and you lose by 1 point, that's a hard pill to swallow.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I'm going to say what we did well was defense. I mean, we held Kansas to 58 points. That's pretty incredible.
We made turn the ball over 17 times.
You know what else we did really well? We did not allow offensive rebounds.
Yeah.
They were great. They didn't let up the offensive rebounds, but they caused way more turnovers, played great defense, but what it comes back to is missing open shots. There were 6 of 23 from 3 and 11 of 18 from the free throw line. That's the problem.
And Ryan, I'm gonna segue off that. We're not a great 3-point shooting team. And
I really thought they were gonna be.
Same. I mean, Kyler Edwards is so inconsistent when it comes to the 3 ball. He hits what it looks like to be difficult to make shots from 3.
Yeah.
And then he misses, and not even misses. He airballs open shots.
Yeah. Kyler Edwards is one of those microwave type players. You
know?
He's off until you turn him on, and then you can't stop him. But it takes a little bit to get him jump started.
I'll tell you what I've been surprised with is Terrence Shannon's ability to knock down the 3.
Yeah, he has developed his game in the offseason.
Oh,
if he can stay consistent with that and prove that to NBA scouts, he goes from a late first round pick
Lottery
to a top 15 pick.
Absolutely,
easy.
absolutely.
Yeah,
I totally agree with you.
With his athleticism, willingness and ability to play defense, And the one thing that's missing is exactly that. It's the outside shot, and it's there right now.
And
Well,
and every time he shoots it, I just don't believe it's going in because it's such a high arcing ball, and it just seems to find it. Yeah.
so
Kansas
He's
game.
also all over the boards.
Oh,
too.
all over the boards.
He's playing great.
Kansas game. I'm just gonna have to say it. Blown coverage on inbounding the ball. I mean that.
That was the literal dagger. But if you hold Kansas to 58 points,
I'm just gonna toss
you
it out
gotta
there.
win the game. That is an unbelievable defensive display.
Yeah.
You gotta win that game. But
moving on, Oklahoma at Oklahoma to an Oklahoma team that is better than I expected.
dogfight.
That was a good. That was a good, very good dub.
Hey,
very
any
good
win on the road in the Big 12 is a steal.
Yeah, I think it was a very good win. Mac just number one. That drive on 3 Oklahoma defenders and scooping underneath the basket, and that was unbelievable. His free throw shooting down the line, amazing. I think that was his best game of the season, in my opinion. And our offense actually looked pretty good through most of the game, so that was a big plus in that one.
Yeah, I would say on the bad side of that game was opposite of Kansas, letting up offensive rebounds and second chance points, and then additionally, while they shot the ball great from the free throw line, they didn't get to the line a lot.
Yeah,
they only attempted 10 free throws that game, and in a physical league like the Big 12, you gotta attack the arms and get to the free throw line.
I think, Ryan, I might be mistaken on this, but I think Texas Tech gets to the line more than any team in the country. I think that is
State
their.
They're there all day.
I think that's true. I think Tech gets to the line more than any team in the country. So.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Think about the Oklahoma or the Kansas State game. They got to the line 36 times.
Yeah.
That's insane.
So this game very easily could have gone to overtime. In fact, should have gone to overtime. Austin Reeves missing a wide open putback.
That was insane.
Off the missed free throw. Coming off of another missed free throw earlier. They got so many chances.
You know what that was? That was a mix of two things: offensive rebounding problems and foul problems.
Yes.
Because both Terrence and Santos Silva were fouled out. And I'll tell you what, if we went to overtime without the two of them, wouldn't feel good.
Yeah, I'll tell you one thing. We won that game because of Marcus Santos Silva. That guy looked absolutely brilliant. 18 points, 9 of 13 from the field, putting up 7 boards. He looked every bit of the Big 12 newcomer of the year. That is really when I saw. That's when I kind of sat back and breathed a sigh of relief and said, okay, he can be who we thought he was going to be. Because until then, I was kind of like, all right, when's that breakout game going to come?
Yeah. I was thinking we were going to have a TJ Holyfield situation.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, let's go to the next one. The overtime loss, Oklahoma State.
Oh, my God.
We can skip over Incarnate Ward.
My God. This Oklahoma State game, to me, Ryan, was probably the most frustrating game to watch of the year so far. And I want to blame it on the refs because I hated the way they called this game. It was so ticky-tack the entire game.
Yeah. It was whistle.
There were so many fouls called, and some ridiculous fouls called. Not the moving screen, the lane violation on the free throw attempt.
Yeah.
I think that one was just awful.
Absurd.
And then Cade Cunningham's 3-point. I kind of want to debate this. Was it the correct call?
No.
It wasn't, right? I mean,
no. I don't think you'll find any basketball analyst who would say that was the correct call.
Yeah.
He is completely vertical, okay? Kevin McCullough is absolutely vertical contesting the shot. Cunningham goes up and purposefully leans in to try to draw. I mean, that is textbook, not a foul.
But he wasn't. But yeah, K-Mac wasn't even in the air. He had come down completely.
Yeah, it was a terrible call. But you know what? That would be so tough in the moment. It'd be so tough in the moment to make that call. It was the wrong one though, and it cost us the game. I'll tell you one thing: Cade Cunningham is going to be an absolute problem at the next level. That guy can play.
Tech did shut him down pretty well.
Yeah.
In reality, I mean, they held them to like a under 25% field goal percentage I mean, he got it done in other places, which is exactly what you're talking about. That's how you know he's cold from the floor, and he still gets 7 rebounds, 4 assists, and 4 steals. Yeah, that's a player.
That was a battle that I was really looking forward to, was McCullough versus Cunningham.
Yeah.
And
I mean,
McCullough showed that he is an elite defender.
Yep.
And what I got to say about that game is, like, I don't see too many glaring bads. It was just like a battle, like you're saying. Like, you know, we let up some offensive rebounds, but we got just as many. We got to the line 35 times and shot over 70%. Like, that's good for a college team. Both teams got into foul trouble. You know, lots of turnovers for both teams. Granted, I would like to see a lot less than 14 turnovers in the game, but they were getting them back. It was just a fucking battle. The problem was too many mid-range jumpers.
Yeah,
Too many mid-range jumpers and shots you shouldn't take. Like,
I think that's
you get down in the shot clock and you get forced into a bad shot. Like, you got to attack the rim early, kick it, or fucking you get the basket. If you wait to the end of the shot clock too much, it's a problem.
You let them get too big of a lead too early. It's a classic case of trying to dig your way out the whole game.
I was gonna say there's a glaring trend so far in the season, is that we just don't come out correct.
But the beginning of the second half, it's like a whole new team. Like, the beginning of the second half of that game, they were pumping.
We've known this about Chris Beard. He know whatever he's doing at halftime, it works. I don't know what talk he's giving them, but I mean, I
think he's one of those coaches that sees what's happening on the floor and knows how to fix it.
Yeah, but they're just been coming out flat to start games. This has happened over and over again. They just need to fix that. If they fix that, this season's going to turn around real fast.
That one, I think that and just getting the offense flowing a little bit more, they're going to be good. But, I mean, the calls at the end of the game, not great. But in reality, that was a battle, and you really hate to lose a Big 12 game at home, or especially your first two. But I think that leads us right into the next thing, which was the first win.
One more thing, Ryan.
Mm-hmm.
One pro from that was Kyler Edwards. You saw him come off of a abysmal performance against Kansas, a terrible performance against OU, and then he bounces back OSU in a positive way, and so much so that, you know, I still have some confidence in him moving forward. I mean, he looked terrible against Kansas, and he looked really bad against OU as well. So,
and even to go into a mindset thing like we were talking about, he came off the bench in that game, and you can tell it didn't bother him. It motivated him.
Yep.
Those are the players that we want.
Would be Kyler Edwards from that game, and his ability to battle through some adversity and get his game back on track.
Moving right along, most recent game. Glad we're caught up now. Kansas State, Tech at home with the dub. Mm-hmm. What'd you guys think about this one?
Well, I think the first thing to say is, once again, they came out flat a little bit. You know, they were down, 10 minutes into the game. They're down by 6-7 points. But something clicked after that. And they started from the 10-minute mark to the 30-minute mark. They played great basketball. They were clearly the better team. The defense was shutting them down. The offense was playing. That 20-minute stretch might be the best 20-minute stretch I've seen Tech play this year.
I totally agree with you.
I'm going to give some credit to Kansas State. They played an excellent game, especially the first half of the game. They really did. They were shooting the ball well. They were finding open shooters. They were defending pretty good.
Yeah.
I thought that they played their best game of the season for sure.
Absolutely.
Big thing here for me was Shannon. Shannon absolutely took over this game, got to the foul line to shoot. He was 11 for 12 from free throws. He was absolutely attacking the offensive boards. He was a monster for this game. And player of the game, Shannon, no question.
And you know who else? It brought you back to what you were saying earlier, kind of reminded me. Granted, Silva wasn't cleaning up the glass quite like we'd like to see, but Silva, I feel like, in every moment when it was like, fuck, we need a basket, they feed him low, and he'd get to that left-hand little baby hook, and they hit. And I was like, you know what? This is exactly what you were saying, Evan. Big 12 new term of the year, but more so like a rock in the middle of the paint that you can trust. You can feed it to him and know he's going to get to his shot. He's not going to do something crazy. And then on the other side, you got Terrence Shannon playing out of his mind, just doing everything. He was all over the court in all facets.
Hey, and PB hit some free throws.
Those his first free throws of the year.
That seemed
he started off the year like 0 for 15, literally.
Yeah, he was pretty bad.
But hey, 3 for 4 last night, so take him when you can get him.
PV has been such a surprise to me. He's looking like one of the best players on the team. and his aggressiveness to get offensive rebounds.
Yes.
It's been awesome to see.
Yeah.
Yes.
I feel like he's learning from Terrence.
I think Burnett was a little bit jealous of Peavy. I don't think they were vibing very much.
I mean, you got to think PV's been earning it. He's been playing hard. Granted, sometimes those threes that he shoots are ugly, and he can't hit a free throw. But hey, he didn't take any threes that game. He hit his free throws. He contributed all over the court, and it's his like aggressiveness and how he plays great defense too. He's a big body for a wing. I like PV.
Well, big win. We're rolling into Ames, into Iowa State next, coming Saturday. This, to me, is a critical game in the Big 12. I don't want to call it must-win, but it is really
it's must-win.
Because
it's must-win.
You're following this up going into number 4 Texas at Austin, and then you host number 2 Baylor at home. You got to have some momentum rolling into those games.
Oh, yeah. You got to make sure this isn't a look-ahead game where they're worried too much about the teams to come. They need to focus on this one.
I mean, Iowa State just barely lost to Texas.
Right. What we said about the Big 12 is because how stacked the Big 12 is, these games like Iowa State, like Kansas State, like TCU, like Oklahoma State, and no offense to those teams, but those are must-win games because on paper, you're supposed to lose to Kansas, you're supposed to lose to UT, you're supposed to lose to
Baylor.
You're supposed to lose to West Virginia. So you got to win these games. I'm not saying we will lose to them, but you're supposed to.
But, like, especially the away games. When you can steal an away game, you have to take it. Because you know when you're going into Kansas or Baylor, like all those ones, stealing an away game there is going to be super hard. You got to defend home court and steal the away games when you can.
You know, it's kind of a catch-22, though, right? This COVID has made it interesting because you don't have the home advantage like you did to the extent of normal seasons. But also, when you go into hostile territory, they don't have the advantage that they normally do. So,
that's true.
So it makes the away games more winnable, but the home games tougher to win.
That's true, but I still think there's a big mindset.
I agree.
Like, we're defending home turf.
Yeah, there's no doubt that there's still an advantage. I'm just saying that gap there has certainly shrunk.
And the Big 12, I mean, has some of the most electric crowds in college basketball. Like, you hear the announcers say it, they're like, normally this place would be going crazy and it's impossible to play. It's like, you go into Kansas and it's like harder to play there than it is Duke, and Texas Tech has always had a massive home advantage because Lubbock goes nuts for the basketball game. It's unreal.
Yep.
But Iowa State, I agree. It's a really important game. Win this, and it's really big for your conference record. And Iowa State has a couple good guards that can really play.
Yep.
They're built kind of similar to Tech without a massive guy that really plays. They have 1 7-footer, just like we have Vlad, but he doesn't really play. And they're gonna match up kind of nice. Tech's just got to play their game and outplay them. Really.
I think that if Vlad doesn't transfer and he sticks with us for 4 years, I think he's gonna be really good.
Luka Garza.
That's what I was telling Ryan. I was like, how do you make a Luka Garza? He's like, well, we got Vlad, and if he sticks around and develops for a few years, that's who he's gonna be.
Yeah, I mean, I think what people forget is Luka Garza out of high school was garbage. He was so slow that his dad would make fun of him and say it looked like he had cement on his feet. And all he did was work for 4 years, and now he's like Neesmith Player of the Year candidate.
This guy's ridiculous. This guy, Luka Garza, is just
let's turn
dumb.
Vlad into Luka.
Yeah,
I'm game for that.
Luka looks like Giannis out there. I mean, it's ridiculous.
They say even though he's still like slow as fuck, they're like, you should have seen it 3 years ago. Like this guy's footwork, he's just like does footwork drills all day long. I mean, let's get the Russian doing that.
I think Vlad does stick around.
I think he does too. I would love to see Vlad be an absolute monster in 3 years.
And I hope to see Benson out there more with Burnett leaving.
I think he will.
I think the team plays better with Benson on the floor.
I mean, we've said it as a podcast. He is the spark plug. He is the junkyard dog that gets the boys moving. And it might not always be controlled chaos, but it's chaos.
I hope he sticks around with the team. I hope he becomes like an assistant coach on the team once he's graduated.
So now there's a 100%. Chance that Benson gets put back on scholarship.
Oh,
I love it. I love it when Benson gets put on scholarship. It's my favorite.
Get Benson back on Scully.
Right?
Let's start a petition to get Benson back on Scully. The Raider Power Podcast officially supports Avery Benson to get back on Scully. Someone tell Beard.
And then I guess we should talk about the football team real quick.
Yeah, sure. Evan.
Yeah, just quickly. Like,
Evan,
maybe,
you
like,
can take this one, man. I really don't care.
15 seconds or less. Man, oh,
Oh, my favorite guy is gone. I'm so upset.
I'm gonna start off with I didn't like Yost. What are you talking
Can't
about?
believe that guy from Dumb and Dumber is gone.
Dude, he was literally my favorite guy on Texas Tech's football program.
Oh, jeez.
All right.
Okay.
All right,
listen,
go ahead, Evan. Talk about it.
I don't want to be a pessimist, but here's where we're at. We're going to be a mediocre football team
Yep.
for
Until
the next
40
few
years.
Yeah, that's just where we're at. Unless something crazy happens, maybe I'm wrong, but
Cliff comes back home.
Cumbie,
Trevor Lawrence decides to forego the NFL draft and play his last year at Texas Tech.
there you go. Let's do it. It doesn't matter. He'll get sacked 10 times a game. But
You're
Sonny
such a
Cumbie,
hater.
Hopefully, Sonny Cumbie was kind of kept bottled up at TCU by Patterson.
Yeah, right.
That's what I'm hoping for. Because if not, then we didn't really get someone that's. I don't know. I think that hire was as good as we could do.
That hire was
of
to
two
appease the fans.
Yeah,
that was
I think
it.
that hire was to appease the fans, bring someone home, and like give the fans something to be happy about while they are under their like last couple years of Gase Jr.
Yeah, he's like, oh my God, we just couldn't get rid of Matt Wells because we would have to pay him out $3 million or whatever. Let's bring in Sonny Comey for $700K. And bring him home because Wells knows the fan base, or Holcutt knows his fan base. It's the older people in Lubbock that care more about the football team than anything. Yeah. So they're like,
Sonny Cumbie's coming back.
Yeah,
I remember
old Sonny Cumbie slinging the pigskin.
On Saturdays we'd go out and watch Sonny Cumbie. I mean, honestly, I hope he thinks back to his Tech days and goes, yeah, fuck it, let's start airing the ball out. Bowman, let's use that big old arm of yours.
That's why
and
I'm worried.
Take Wells' boy and throws him to the trash.
That was not his MO at TCU.
Hopefully Matt Wells gets benched and then just doesn't do anything and just gets his paycheck and stays in his big house.
I hope that he goes with Namari Burnett.
Honestly, my God, wherever they're going.
He goes to Coach Joel and Tomboy overseas.
We're gonna see. I'm guaranteeing we're gonna see Burnett at Kentucky next year.
Nah, he's not going Big 12.
I said Kentucky.
Oh shit! I thought you said Kansas.
No, he's going to Kentucky.
No, Kentucky. I could see Kentucky. I could definitely see a Miami or an NC State.
Dude,
it would one of those second-tier ACC schools.
It would be really hard to swallow if Burnett leaves and then becomes All-American. That would be so upsetting.
He's going to be the Baker Mayfield of our basketball program.
Yeah, but at least Baker was good while he was at Tech.
True.
Burnett just didn't do much offensively. Ryan, is that true? Is Tomboy playing overseas?
It's not confirmed yet, but there was rumors of him and Kuminga going together to play for a team. I wanted to say it was the Latvian league, where Lonzo or LaMelo was, but it's not confirmed. So I think, but that was the big rumors that he was leaving to go with his brother to go play for a team overseas.
Well, his brother's playing for that G League Ignite team with Jalen Green and Isaiah Todd and Kai Soto and all those guys.
So I wonder if that blew up their plan.
Yeah.
That would suck.
You know what? Beard is all about culture. And I know I'm going back to basketball, but at the end of the day, if you got people that are cancer in the locker rooms and you got people that don't want to do whatever it takes to win, even if that means coming off the bench, then get them out of there.
Yeah. Yeah. It's just hard to see a talent leave, but whatever.
It is.
More time for Benson, baby.
More time for Benson. Gotta love that sentence. Love that sentence all day.
I think that's a good way to wrap it up.
I think it is too. I'm Ryan.
I'm Chris.
And I'm Evan.
This has been the Raider Power Podcast. Guns up, fellas.
Guns up, baby.
Guns up, baby.